Okay, so we can start. So, have anyone practiced Dynamo? Anyone?
No, sir, not yet.
No, sir, not yet.
Okay. So in last class we saw how to read a data from an Excel spreadsheet, right? So today we can see how to work in Excel sheet. So before that, you should know some of the basics of managing list and managing nested list. Okay. So okay, let this open.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Today also we are continuing dynamic class only, no?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so first we can see some of the basics of managing list. So it's common, like when you're working with Dynamo, to be faced with tasks of handling list of informations. Okay, so in the first few times you see the files organized in like this way, or it can be seen a little bit daunting, but in fact it will probably work with all this data without even knowing it. So when you're working with Revit or AutoCAD or any other CAD softwares, if you select more than one object or element and change something about them all at the same time, or you might even move them to a different location or delete it or change it to something else, right? Or its properties or something else, or you may have some experience like that before. But in Dynamo, you can work with list. Okay, so like working with a list is a little bit different from selecting multiple objects, okay, in Revit or AutoCAD. So understanding how to manage informations or organize it is a very important hurdle to get over. Okay, so now we can see how to work, how to manage some list. So does anyone remember how to create a list, what we covered in the previous class? Does anyone remember how we created list in the previous class? If no, say no.
No, sir.
Okay, so first we introduce some numbers, right? And then okay, so there are two ways to create a list of numbers. Let's get started by dropping a get item at index number. So before that, first we can create a list, that is list dot create. So this is one of the item. I hope now you guys remember. So we have to just create two items, then connect the numbers. So I'm just giving a number, let's say 10, 0, 2. Okay, so now we have created a list of these three numbers 10, 0 and 2. So this is one way, and the another way is by creating a sequence or a range node. So we have a start value, the total amount, and a step value. So we can give the start value as 10 with the step value of 2 and the okay, we can give the start value as 0, amount as 10, and this. Okay, so now we have created two lists, one with the help of list.create and another one with the help of sequence. So everyone knows the sequence. We should give a start value and the total amount and the step. So here the start value is 0 and the total amount is 10. Okay, so from 0 to 9 and with step value of 2. So now we can drop a guest like get item at index. Okay, so this node is to get a data from a list. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the list and the index. So now I'm connecting this to this, and we want an index. So everyone knows what is an index, right? So when our data is arranged in a list, each item has a number in gray rectangle called index. Like we talked about earlier, the index is kind of like an address or an identifier for each piece of data in the list. Okay, so this node will help you get a specific data from its index. Basically, it is used to point any list and say I need the second item in this list, or third item, or whatever the number you specify in the index. Okay, so now I'm just going to give an input. We can use a number node. Let's say I want the item at index 2. So give 2 and connect to the index. So what's the item at index 2? 4. So now we got the data in the index 2, right? So this is one method. Next, we can count the list. So for that, we can use a node called list.count. So we have only one input, that is the list. So you can connect the list to here, and you can see the output as 10. Okay, which means the total number of items in the list is 10. You can see it starts from 0 to 9, right? So the total number of items in the list is 10. Next, let's say that you want to add an item to the front of the list. Okay, so in that case, we have a specific node called list.add item to end or add item to front. So in this case, I'm going to use front. So this is my list, and the item that I'm going to add in the front of this list. Okay, so you have to give an input. So I'm just using number node itself, and let's say I'm just giving -2, connecting this to this, and now we can see the difference between these two lists. So here the list starts with 0 and ends with 18, and we have added -2 to the front of this list. So the list starts with the -2, 0, then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all the way to index 10. Okay, and there is another node called list.shuffle to shuffle the list if you want. And now we can see this is the same list. Now it is not arranged in property, it has shuffled, right? So if you want to shuffle the list, you can use this one, or if you want to sort, you can also use that. So now I'm just giving this sort list, like I'm just giving the shuffled list as an input to the sort, and now we can see it sorts the list using the built-in natural ordering. Okay, we can see it is sorted properly. So these are some of the basics of managing list. Okay, so next we can see how to manage a nested list. So is this clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next we can move to the managing of nested list. So I just delete this, or else we can just have it for practice, and just you can select all this node and click Ctrl G so that you can create a group. I'm just giving a title here, basic of let's keep it aside so that you can practice. Okay, so next we are going to see about managing a nested list. So for that, I'm just going to import an Excel data. that we saw in the previous class. So Excel import. So we want to file the sheet name, and yeah, that's it. So first is file path, then file from path, and we want a string to give the sheet name. And the sheet name is sheet 1. So these are case sensitive, so it should be exactly like how it is in the Excel sheet, okay, with S capital and followed by small letters and 1 without any space. I can just show you how this Excel looks like so that we'll get an idea. Okay, so this is the Excel sheet, and here you can see the sheet name. You can see it is capital sheet and 1 without any spaces. Okay, so you have to just give exactly how it is. Okay, so now we have imported our data, right? Next we want to we can use the thing that we saw earlier, like, so let's say that I want to extract the first item. So for that, list dot first item. So here you can see we got all the data from the Excel sheet as a list here. Okay, and you can see these first list or the headings, right? We cannot consider this as a list because the list starts from here, right? So we want to remove this. So for that, we can use this node which is called list.firstItem. Okay, so that we can extract the first item separately as we saw in the last class. Similarly, list.getItem@index. We can use like first item and the last item, or else we can use list.getItem@index, so that you can just point out a specific index and you can say that I want this list of items from this index. Okay, so connect here. Let's say that I want the items from the index 1. So use the number node. Just give the index 1 and connect here. And now we can see I got the value of the index 1. You can see this is the index 1, S1 shared 36, 48 and 2. Here you can see S1 shared 36, 48 and 2. Okay. Like that, we can also extract the rest of the items. Okay, so this is on another node, list.map. So first I'm connecting the list to here. And next here you can see it says f of x, and this is some of a trickiest part. So for that, first I'm just gonna add list dot add item to front, and the item is, let's say I'm just going to introduce a string. Let's say new first item. So this is the item. I'm connecting this to the f of x. So what you're seeing here is that each sublist now begins with a new first item followed by the rest of the item. So here you can see the list is starting from S1 shared 36, 48 and 2, but now you can see all the list is starting with a new item that we have added, which is the new first item. So this is what the list.map does. And next is a node called transpose. So this is a very useful node. Okay, so first let me tell you what this transpose node will do. So this will just swap the rows and columns. Okay, so I'm just connecting this here, and now we can see the output. So can you find the difference here? So what this list.transpose does is it just swaps the rows and columns from here to here. So what you're seeing here is we got all the item at index 0. So imagine in this list we have the item at the index 0 is number, and the next list we have the item the index 0 is S1. Similarly, you can see S2, P1, P2, etc. So what it does is it just extract all the items in the index 0 and created a new list, and it extract all the items in the index 1 and created new list. Now we can see description, shirt, pant, footwear, etc, etc, etc. Similarly, you have the width, all the width, you have all the height, right? But we don't want to connect this here. We can connect with the rest of the item because we don't want this headings also to be added. So I'm just removing this. I'm connecting to the rest of the item. Yeah, now we can see we don't have the headings, right? With like the numbers, etc, etc. We don't have the headings, right? So if you see this, we started with a list of 9 items. Sorry, a list of 5 items with a list of 5 items with 9 sublist. But here we can see a list of 9 items with 5 sublist. Can you able to see this? Index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 9 items and 5 sublist. But here you can see we have 9 items with 5 sublist. So this is capable of handling the same task on several inputs rather than just one input at a time. Okay, so this is some of the basics of managing the nested list. Now we can go and see how to work with Excel data in Dynamo. Okay, so first let me arrange this properly. Okay, so we are going to work with this node list.transpose. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to extract the data from the index 2 and index 3. So because the index 2 has all the width and index 3 has all the height, right? So I'm going to extract all the width details and all the height details. So we can use this one, list.get item at an index, right? And connect the list and connect the index. So what is the index? I want the item from index 2 and index 3. Here you can see index 2 is width and index 3 is height. So 2, connect to the index and you get all the width separately. Do the same procedure again, Control C, Control V. Instead of index 2, give index 3. Okay, so now you got the width and height of all the elements separately. So now we can do some mathematical functions if you want. So let's say that you want to multiply the width and height. Okay, so in that case, use a multiplication node, and we have two inputs, which is x and y. So you all know that we can give a list as an input, right? So connect this item to the x and this item to the y, which is x has all the width details and y has all the height details, right? And we got the product of this 36 and 48 is 1728. So as you can see, this width and height are in inches, right? So I'm just going to, so the multiplied value is in square inches when you multiplied both 2 inches, right? So let's say that you want this to be in square feet instead of square inches, okay? So in that case, just divide it. So you can just divide each of this number by 144, which is the conversion factor of square inches to square feet, I guess, right? Yeah. So we have to divide it by 144. So this is of x, and in the y, 144. So now we got our product in square feet instead of square inches, right? So like this is how you can just import the Excel file. You can just extract some data from the Excel file. You can do some mathematical functions, okay? And then you can write this data back to the Excel, okay? So for that, search for export Excel. Okay, export and Excel. So this also requires some file path, sheet name, start row, start column, data, etc, etc. Okay, file path. So as you can see here, the input is file path and not a file. Okay, so if the input is file, you have to convert this file path into a file with the help of file from path node, as we saw earlier. But in this case, you can just directly connect it, no issues. Okay, select a file. We can select the same Excel sheet. Okay, and what is the sheet name? Sheet 1. Okay, the starting row and starting column. Let me open that Excel sheet. Okay, let's say the starting row is 1 and the starting column is 5, let's say. So we introduce two number node. So starting row is row 1, oops, and the starting column is column 5. Okay, and now we have the data. So we have this data, connect the data here. So as soon as I connect this, you can see it just automatically writes the data here. The product of the width and inches is in this column, which is row 1 and column 5, right? 12, 15, 6, 12, 6, 10, 10, 10, 15, 18. You can also check here. 12, 15, 6, 12, 6, 10, 10, 15, 18. So as soon as we connect this, it automatically writes the data because I am running the script automatically. So now if you want to import multiple columns of data, all you need to do is to provide the nested list into the data, and then as the single list which we have done now. So is this clear for everyone? Is this clear, or does anyone have any questions?
Yes,
Okay, we can move forward. So these are used to create. Yeah, yes.
sir.
Hello.
As a team engineer,
Your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking. Sorry, your voice is breaking.
In the first class, you said that the other experts in Dynamo, who are experts in Dynamo, who will do this part.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we
So,
need to know only like basic information, or do we not need to know programming also?
so you're asking that do you need to know the basics or do you want to be an expert in Dynamo? Is that your question?
Want to not do we need to as a
Uh,
basic?
Actually, your voice is breaking. I cannot clear properly. Can you write
Actually,
it in the
sir,
chat
as a
box?
beam engineer, do we need to know about the Dynamo? Or do we need to be an expert?
Still, I cannot hear you properly. Can you just write in the chat box? Your voice is somewhat breaking.
Okay, sir, continue. I will type in WhatsApp, sir.
No, you can just type in this chat box so that others can also know about it. Okay, just type in the chat box here. I'll just answer.
So actually, I have connected with mobile. The send option is not available on mobile, I think.
Okay.
Please continue, sir.
Okay. So next we can see how to create some points. So I hope you guys remember how to create some points, right? So let me delete this. So to create a points, first we need to introduce a node called point.coordinates. Point by coordinates. So I hope everyone knows this. As soon as I introduce this node, you can see there's a point in x, y, and z, and all you have to do is you have to just give and sequence a list of numbers, right? I'm just using a sequence here. Because if we have some default value here with step of 1, okay, so that is the reason you can see we have some points with the step value of 1 here. Okay, so now let's see how to create a simple geometry with this. Okay, so first we can reduce a number node. Next, point by coordinates. So I'm just giving x, y, and z. So this is the first point, and I want another point, which is in x I want 10, and in z I want 5, let's say, or else let it be 10 in z as well. Okay, so now I have created 2 points. So one point here 0, 0, 0, and one point here which is 10 in x, 10 in y, and 0 in, sorry, 10 in x and 10 in z and 0 in y. Okay, so now to create a line or a polycurve, you can just use like line by start point end point. Okay, so you can see it has a start point and an end point. You can just give this as a start point and this as an end point. So now you can see we have created a line with the help of these 2 points that we have created. Okay, so we can just continue this further. I'm just copying the whole node and pasting it again. Let's say that for the next line we want this endpoint to be the start point. 10 and 10 here. If you get this yellow color means that is a warning. Okay, so here the warning is that both the points are lying the same coordinate, so that we cannot create a line. So that is why we are getting this point. So here I'm just giving 0 in x, and also you can give 20 in x and 0 in z. Okay. Next we can do the same procedure again. So here the first point is the last point of the previous line. So 20, 0, 0, and okay, so now we have just created a simple geometry like this. But you may have a question like, why should we spend this much time and this much node to create this points, right? Does anyone have like a question like this?
So
No one?
in the first class, you said that there is complex geometry that we cannot create in Revit, so we can use this maybe.
Yeah, we can use this, but doesn't you feel that this is a very long to create a simple triangle?
Yes, sir. It is a lengthy
Yes,
procedure.
it is a long process.
Yes, but this can be solved easily. Actually, a programmer's main goal is not just to solve problems through coding, but to do it efficiently. Okay, so it's always important to make it concise. Okay, so now let's see how to make this a simple. So you all know that we can connect multiple inputs with multiple nodes, right? So you can see here the 0 is connected. We have 3 0 nodes, which is connected to the x, y, and z. So actually we don't want a separate node for 0. We can just connect this to this, this to this, right? Fine. And here you can see we have 2 10. So we don't need this. We can just connect this to this. And we don't need a 0 because we already have a 0. Similarly, so we have a 10 as 0 already, so we can delete these and connect this to this, connect this to this. We have a 0 already, connect this here. So 20 is a new number, so we can just keep it, and we have 2 zeros, so delete this. We can use the same node again. Fine. Delete this 20. Oops. This one, connect here. 2 zeros, delete it. Connect here and here. So these are 0, 0, 0. So we don't want this. Actually, it has a default value of 0. You can see default value 0, default value 0, default value 0. So we don't even want to connect it here because it already has a default value. So now it looks somewhat simple, right? Comparing to what we saw earlier. We can even make it simple. So we all know this is the first point and this is the second point, right? So there's no need to create another point with the same coordinates. So let's connect this here. So there is no need of this node. We can delete it. Okay. And this is the second point. Okay. So this point is similar to the previous point. So that we don't want this node, we can directly connect the previous point here. So there is no use of this node. We can delete this as well. And here also we have the 0, 0 already, so that we don't need this node. We can connect this here. So now we can see it's very concise, right? So that is what I said, like when you find yourself typing like the same code or same node multiple places in your program, it not only take longer to write and read the code, but it also takes longer for your computer to read and follow the instructions. Okay, so it's always important to be concise. Okay, so is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's another one option that just requires only one node. So I'll just show you how to do that. So that is called code block. So first let me create a group of this item. So okay, I will set it B. Or else we can just freeze this. So freeze means this option will not, or else okay, the option called freeze is that when you run the script, this node will not work. Okay, so if you want to run your script, but if you don't want a certain node to get work, you can just freeze it. Or else we have this preview option, you can just uncheck the preview so that you cannot able to see those lines, right? Fine. So now we can see with the same operation with the help of a code block. So just type code block here. So this code block is a powerful node. Okay, you can just do anything in this code block. Like the code block is used instead of a node or a range of numbers, or else to a string, or you can give a formula, etc., etc. Okay, so first we can create a point by coordinates. So just type point dot by, you can see by coordinates, type it, point by coordinates, open bracket. First type the coordinates. So here what is the first coordinate? 0, 0, 0. Okay. Go to the second line and create another one, point by coordinates. And what is the second point here? I guess it's 10 in x, 0 in y, and 10 in z. Okay, so we can just give a variable for this. So variable is nothing but just identifier, like you can say p1 equals, okay, which is 0.1 equals this one, and 0.2 equals this coordinate. So we have just created two variables here. Fine. Next is we can just use line by start point end point, which we use to create a line, right? Open bracket, p1 comma p2, and we can also give a variable here, which is, you can say my line equals line by start point end point. So now we can see in the background we have created a line. So we don't even need these many nodes. With just a single code block we can able to create it. Similarly, you can just type 0.3 equals and 0.4, you can just give it my line equals, you can just give any variable for the line, and you can just create with this, just with the help of this one code block. Okay, so now I'm not just insisting you to try this code block, but you just want to know about this. Okay, in this code block you can also use anything, like if you want to give a string, you can just type, let's say this is a string with double quote. So now this is a string actually. Okay, so you can use a string. You can also create a range of numbers here. You can also create some formulas like x equals whatever you want. Just give a value x equals 5, y equals 5. So now we got two inputs, x and 5. right? So actually with the code block, you can do almost everything. Okay, so once you get a good knowledge about this Dynamo, you can just use code block for everything. It will save your time, so that you don't need to use a separate node for the numbers or the strings or etc. etc. You can just use only the code block, and you can do all your things with a single node. So now I'm just deleting this, and I just open a new one. Okay, so what you're seeing here is that I have created some points here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I have just created 8 points here, and you can see I have just used this point by coordinates node to create some points, and I have just created a list of all these points. Okay, so first I have created all these points, then I just created a list of all these points. So I have a list of all the coordinates. You can see x0, y0, z0, x0, y5, and z0. I have all the list. Okay, so now let's do some functions with this list. So first I'm just going to show an example called list.shift indices. Okay, it just shift indices in the list to the right with the given amount. So this is the list, and I'm just going to give a number. So in this case I'm using a code block. You can just give a number. I just want to shift indices with one amount. So now we can see the difference here. The last point is 15, -5, and 0. And in the right side, you can see the same coordinates is shifted by one amount, which is the first amount, because 7 is the last, right? So there is no option to move beyond 7. So what it does is it just shifts this point towards 1. As there is no space beyond 7, it just goes to the first item. You can see here the index 7 here is at index 0. Okay, so now we can just create some lines. I'm just giving the start point as this list, and I'm giving the end point as the shift indices. So as I connect, you can see here we have just created a lines. Okay, the reason I gave this list.shift indices is that if I just unplug this, and if I can put the same list here, okay, that cannot be done, because the first item here and the last item here, which is the 15, you can see when I click this 15, you can see this one. Okay, the first point is this one, right? Point 1, and here the first point is here, right? So what it does is it just connects all these points. That can only be done if this first item in this list and the last item in this list gets matched. So that is the reason we shifted this, and now we can see it just go through this all the points, and it just connected like this. So if you want to create a polycurve, that can also be done. Polycurve dot by points. So first you want to give the points, you can give the list here. I'll just unpreview this one. Okay, so now we can see we just created a polycurve with this list, and you can see it is not connected. You can also give this list. You can see this is not connected, right? And here we have an option called connect the last to first, and it is a boolean. So with the help of a boolean, you can just make this connect last to first if you want or not. So just use the boolean node here. So what it says, the default value is false. So if it is false, it will not connect. But if you want to connect, you have to make it true. Okay. So now when I click it true, you can see it is connected. If it's false, it will not connect. If it's true, it will connect. So the difference between polyline and the other line is that the polylines are always connected. It is not like the lines which we created with the line by start point end point. We can see these all are separate lines. But in polycurve, you can see these all are connected with each other. Next, we can see some another example by how to create some arc. So let it be as I'm just turning off the preview. So when you search for arc, you can see there are lots of nodes to create an arc by fillet, by 3-point, etc, etc, etc. So you can just try it. I'm just using this 3-point node here. Okay, so first you want a first point and a second point and a third point. So first point, let's say this as my first point, and the second point, you can say this as my second point, and the third point, we can see this as my third point. So now we can see we have created an arc. So this as my first point, this as my second point, and this as my third point. So this arc is created, and you can see it just connect all these 3 points. So like this, you can just create an arc with the help of 3 points. Next, I'll show another example. Okay, by center point, start point, sweep angle. Let me hide this one. So we have the center point default, and we have to give the start point. We can give this as a start point, let's say, and next we want the sweep angle. So let's give a number slider. So let's say the maximum is 360 degree with a step of 1. Connect to the sweep angle here, and here you can see it says normal to the arc vector. Okay, so just search for vector z-axis. So you'll just get this z-axis vector, which is 0, 0, 1. Okay, so regarding this vector, we will learn detail in the upcoming classes. So now we can see this. Fine. Now when I move this slider, I'll just make it big. Okay, so now we know the center point, we have the start point, we have a slider, and we have this vector.z.axis, right? Because it is rotating with this z-axis. So I move this slider, you can see we are creating an arc. I just give the maximum value as 360 and the minimum value is 0 with a step value of 1. What if I give the minimum value is 100? You can see it starts from 100 and it will not go beyond 100. It just starts from 100 and ends in 360. If I give the minimum value as 300, it will not go beyond 300. You can see it will not go beyond 300. I'm just giving 0 so that we can just create an arc as per our need. So now we can see it cannot create an arc because the sweep angle is 0. So that's why we are getting a warning that it says we cannot create an arc with the sweep angle 0. But now we can create. So this is one type. I'm just hiding this. So similarly, we can also create a NURBS curve. NURBS curve by control point. Okay, so NURBS curve means it just draws a smooth curve with each of the points as a control point. Okay, so the points is the list, and here you can see, as I said, it draws a smooth curve with each of the points as a control points. So now we can also give a degree. I'm just using an integer slider. let's say the maximum as 7, minimum is 1 with a step value of 3. Okay, so connect this here. So as you can see, when the degree is 1, it doesn't looks like a curve, right? So now I'm just moving a little bit, and now it somewhat looks like a curve. So you can also control the degree like this. I'll just change the step value to 1, and now we can see the difference. So these curves are controlled by those points. So if it is important for you to design a NURBS curve pass through points, you prefer to use NURBS curve by points. Okay, and this NURBS curve doesn't necessarily need to be in a flat planar. Okay, so what you're seeing here is just in a flat planar. So let's change one of these points z value to see what happens. So I'll just change the z value here. You can introduce a new node. Or else I'll connect here. So you can see these curves are now in z-axis. Now it is not in a planar, right? We can make it a little smooth. We can change the slider, the angle, and now we can see it is somewhat curved. So as you can see, Dynamo is capable of drawing many different types of curves. Not only in the planar, you can just create any different types of curves as per your need. So is this clear for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So just practice what we learned today. So that's all for today's class. So if you have any questions, you can ask me now, or else we can end the session today. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. So tell me guys, is it interesting or you feel bored?
Little bit. Sir.
Okay, what about others?
So interesting.
Okay. So just practice what we learned
Sir, I
today.
have a
Okay.
question, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
I'm audible. My voice
Yeah,
is
you're
clear.
audible. Yeah, it's clear. Tell me.
No, my question was that it is our job to use Dynamo, or as a BIM engineer or BIM modeler.
Yes, of course. If you like, if let's see that if you want to create a program for your repetitive task. Okay, so when you're working in a project, like once you enter an organization, you will know what are the tasks that you're going to do again and again. Okay, so those kind of tasks can be automated. Okay, using this Dynamo, you can just create a script. Like for an example, if you want to change a text from the uppercase to lowercase. Okay, so imagine this project has lots of text files. Okay, imagine we have 20 levels here, and each level you have created some shop drawings, and everything is in smaller cases, and you have to convert all those text which are in the smaller cases to upper cases. Okay, so what you'll do, you will go to all the flows, like each and every 20 flows, and select delete it, and will you change it? No, that cannot be done, and there's no other options in Revit to do that. But with the help of Dynamo, you can just change from the uppercase to lowercase, or from lowercase to uppercase with just a single program. Okay, so like this, you can, there are many things, like if you want to rotate some particular item. Okay, we just imagine you want to rotate some item to 45 degrees from its center of point. Okay, so you cannot do this by go and rotating the elements manually by clicking rotate, rotate, rotate for each and every element. That will take a lot of right click and left click, right? But with the help of Dynamo, you can automate this. So like this, there are lots of things that can be done using Dynamo. So when you're working in the next time, just try to pay attention to the things that you are doing again and again, which is taking you a lot of time. Okay, so those kind of tasks can be automated. And not only, you can also create some complex geometry which cannot be created with the help of any BIM softwares. Like for an example, I hope everyone knows Zaha Hadid, right? So she used to design with the help of a visual programming tool, but this is not a Dynamo. So these kind of structures cannot be created simply with the tools available in the BIM software, but this can be created with the help of visual programming. So these buildings, she uses a software called Grasshopper that comes with Rhinoceros. Okay. Similarly, in the Dynamo also, we can do all these kind of things. Like you can see the curve which we have created is also somewhat looking like that, right? I just gave the number randomly. So like these kind of curves, we can use Dynamo to create all these kind of things, and you can also make it parametric. So if you want to change this curve, you can with the help of the points, with the help of the number sliders, you can just change all these everything, because everything will be connected parametrically with each other. That cannot be done with the tools available in the BIM software. So all kind of this, everything can be done. Okay, so these are the main options to automate the repetitive task and create complex geometry. You can also create your own tools for using Dynamo. Like let's say that you want some particular tool to do a task, and that tool is not available in the default Revit, means you can create a new tool for you. That can also be done, and there are lots of things that can be done with Dynamo.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and there are some things that cannot be done using Dynamo, but that can be done with the help of Python. Okay, so Python is a programming language. So with the help of Python, you can just create a script. Instead of creating nodes like this, you can just create a script and you can run it. And you can say that script and you can just run that same script again and again for different projects as well. Okay.
So what is Grasshopper, sir? Alternate.
So as I said, Grasshopper is a visual programming tool which is very similar to Dynamo. Okay. But as you can see, this Dynamo comes along with Revit, right? So Revit is a BIM software and Dynamo is a visual programming for the Revit. Similarly, Grasshopper is a visual programming tool that comes with the BIM software called Rhinoceros. Okay. You can also see Grasshopper Rhino. So you can see these kind of facades or these kind of buildings. All these things can be created with the help. As you can see, it is somewhat similar to the nodes we can see in the Dynamo, right?
Yes.
So these are visual programming. So you can just create any kind of structures that you want. And these are parametric. With just a number slider, we can just change the shape of all these things. You can see there is a tower, twisted tower like this, and you can just, there are lots and lots of things that can be created. And these all will be parametric. You can see this is a facade and etc. etc. All these things can be done with the help of visual programming, not just Grasshopper. You can also use the help of Dynamo. It's just about visual programming. It's somewhat easy. If you know Dynamo, you can also use Grasshopper. Almost similar. Okay. I hope now you get an idea about the use of Grasshopper and the visual programming, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So one more question, sir.
Hmm.
I was reading on internet that only a few percentage of companies are using BIM in India. So, as per your experience in BIM, how much BIM is used in India, sir? Like proper BIM, because most of the companies are using like from CAD to 3D models only, as per the article I have read.
Okay, so as in India, like not every company is adapted to BIM. Okay, the reason is they don't have the proper knowledge of BIM, or maybe the client doesn't know what is BIM. Okay, so those are the reasons why we haven't implemented BIM wasn't implemented in each and every projects in BIM. But in future, India will mandate BIM for all the projects. But as of now, BIM is necessary for all the government projects like metro stations, airport, hospitals, data centers, etc., etc. Okay, but it's not mandatory, but it will become in future. Like I have
So
experience on the yeah.
as a fresher
Sorry.
like us, as a fresher like us people in the team.
Mhm.
So how do we choose the company which are following the BIM process?
Sorry, as a fresher, can you
Like
speak a lot?
after this course, we are fresher on, no, sir. After we have done internship, we will apply for jobs, no.
Yes.
So how to choose a company, a good company that follow BIM process?
Okay, that you have to search. You have to search for what are the BIM companies available here, and you have to apply for that. That's it. You have to search. You have to find all these things.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you can just, there are lots of websites available. You can search. You can just do a search of what are the companies using BIM in India. So most of the companies here are not only just working for Indian projects, they're working for abroad projects. And even if it's an Indian company, they're most of the time they're working for projects outside India. Okay, just search.
That company
There's
also works for US projects, no?
yeah, we are not working for India. We're just working only US projects, and we are doing some BIM consultation in India.
So what is your job role, sir, in
Hmm?
this company?
Mine?
What is your job role in this, sir?
Yeah, I am a senior BIM engineer, MEP.
Okay. Okay, sir, nothing else.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Danshri.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so just practice this. We can see tomorrow. So this is Buggy signing off until we meet again next time. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.